A little bit of a rocky first week for the Padres. Let's just talk about some of the headlines. We got names in the news. He's had two starts. He hasn't gotten out of the first inning of either one of these starts. One of their aces, Joe Musgrove, is really struggling. He's pitched two-thirds of an inning as a starter, has given up 8 runs and 8 hits. John, his ERA is 43.50 through the first two starts. Now, he's coming back from the capsule issue. He has had no arm problems yet that he's alluded to. He is experimenting with a new type of slider it's more of a slurve, which is a curveball slider. It's a different type pitch than his money pitch, which was the hard slider, which led to the shoulder capsule problems. They're just going to continue to work on this new pitch, and we'll see over the next couple of starts whether he can master it. He's had problems with the strike zone and finishing off batters. The second guy, it's a little bit too early, but the fact he had elbow problems that really wiped out the whole second half of last season, relief ace Robert Suarez. He's the one that's replacing Josh Hader. In 2 games, his ERA is 27.00. He's not been able to get the job done his first 2 outings out of the bullpen. They're not saying there's anything physically wrong with Suarez, and they've still got weeks for him to amp it up. This is kind of hard to believe because everybody said, well, he's done all this in San Diego, did all this in the Dominican during the offseason. He's ready, and this is a clean piece of paper. Last year, of course, he missed the first 20 games because of the PED suspension. Talking about El Nino, Fernando Tatis. But, John, he's hitless. He's hitless in 4 games so far. He's 0 for 7. I totally forgot this. Last year, in his comeback from the suspension year, he only hit 252. He hit 25 home runs. He only hit 252, which I mean, I thought he was in the 280s, but he must have tailed at the end of the season. So I just asked the question. This is not typical Tatis that we're seeing. Manny Machado is hitting only a $167. Of course, he's recovering from the elbow surgery. Don't think he's going to be ready to play third base opening day when the Padres go to South Korea to play the Dodgers. But if he can DH, and there seem to be no complications, he's getting good swings, feels good. He's only hitting $167. And then there's the outfield derby. Everybody in the world's competing for an outfield position. The Padres just signed another outfielder last night, a journeyman, ex-Met, ex-Yankee, ex-Cub, Tim LaCastro. So he kind of gets thrown into the mix. Oscar Mercado had been with Cleveland, been with the Cardinals, been with the Phillies. He's hit 2 home runs in his first 2 games. This guy has got 26 career home runs, like a .267 batting average as a super utility man. If he continues to swing like this, he might be maybe the 4th outfielder in the mix. They'd still have to add somebody else. So that's where we are with the Padres. They still got a couple more weeks of exhibition games before they go to Seoul, South Korea to open the season against the Dodgers. And Padre fan from left field, what does he think?
Yeah, I'm really concerned. Every one of these guys, there's like some question mark, some worry. Tatis did tail off because he was hitting 280, 290 when he first got started, and then it faded away like it did for so many of the other players. I'm curious to see, I'm loving this Jackson Merrill. He's playing center field, and he kind of went back on a ball into the gap and caught it. I mean, he's a shortstop. He's a first-round draft pick. He should be okay there. But I still think, what about Tommy Pham? Would he be a good addition to this roster?
He's out there. But, we've already seen this movie before. And I don't think he's coming to San Diego on a $1 million contract because they don't have that much money left in their budget. And they may want to save some money if they have a decent season and have a chance to rent somebody at the trade deadline. So I think that's why they're holding on to what few dollars they have left. But, Tommy Pham did hit 262. Did hit, I think, 16 home runs last year. He's been around the block a lot of teams. We understand his persona, which can grind on people. But we also understand when he was here, he didn't play very well. So are we going to revisit that?
But he was injured a lot.
But he didn't play very well. He got himself in trouble off the field. So does he make them a great team? No. And the fact that you got the young kid who might be your starting center fielder, Jackson Merrill, and you got multiples of other young guys that could be insurance policies led by what Mercado has just done in the first 10 days of camp. Maybe you don't need Tommy Pham at this point. Maybe you're better to save the dollars. And Pham wants $5 million. I don't see the Padres giving him $5 million because he hit 226 when he was here. As well as he played in spurts, there was also so much other junk involving him. I don't know that I'd revisit. Obviously, nobody else in baseball's revisiting him either.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Matt Waldron? He had a nice outing. I mean, do you think he has a shot at making the starting rotation?
Everybody needs a fifth guy in the rotation. And he's had 2 good starts. That's kind of a hybrid starting pitcher who can throw some velocity and then throws that knuckleball up there. I mean, as a fifth guy in your rotation, okay. But the Padres are trying to fill rotation spots 3, 4, and 5 with the guys from Yankee Stadium. Michael King has pitched really well. Johnny Brito's had one good outing. Vasquez had one good outing. So, Waldron, but those guys don't make you pennant contenders.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so spoiled because we sat here last year and we had Darvish and we had Musgrove and we had Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell. And then we had the 2 guys that were the surprise guys, Waka and Lugo. Bro, we don't have anything near that as of this afternoon.
Well, we thought back then that that Lugo and Waka we weren't sure about, and Snell was always you never really were sure about. They just all turned into really good starting pitchers over the years. So I still think Morejon is a wild card. Because that guy was a starter. I mean, you got a ton of money invested in from that 2016 international draft. It would be nice for him to resurrect all that buzz around him when we signed him. And why not Morejon in the starting rotation?
He could be if he can pitch his way into it and stay healthy. He has a history of getting hurt. I think the last I stopped counting, but the last I'd counted, I think he'd had 7 different injuries in 6 years in the Padre organization, a chunk of that in the lower minor leagues. But maybe he's a better long reliever. Maybe he's not just gifted enough to be a starter. He hadn't done anything with any consistency at all. Yeah, you can throw his name into the mix. But then again, now you're telling me we're going to be fine with Waldron and Morejon, and I don't see that as being a pennant-winning pitching staff.
Do they?
No, they're very shy.
Yeah, because Brito and Vasquez and Waldron are all right-handed throwers. So Avila,
and so is Michael King.
And Darvish and Musgrove. So it'd be nice. Morejon could maybe find a slot in there.
He's still got the opportunity. He's still here, but we're ticking on the clock here. We're talking about a kid that's been here 7 years now and hasn't really made much of an impact. Okay, if you're a Padre fan, Fans Forum is open. You got an opinion, let us know what it is. Just pile in, give us a 1-sentence question, see what you've got to say. We go